Another thing for you to think about that I feel like doesn't really come up quite often that I think is interesting is a lot of people are critical of music now. They just feel like it's boring. That's something I hear a lot of, is that music is boring, that there's too many songs and none of them are really, they don't feel, this is really what I hear a lot. Music doesn't feel like it used to. And I don't know if that's millennial nostalgia, but also you see Gen Z coming up the pike and they're sort of like, they're into Y2K stuff. They're into 2000 stuff. Or even I've seen sentiments now online of people saying like, man, I wish I was in high school in 2018. I wish I was in high school in 2017. Yo, what I would give to be out in the club in 2016 when this dropped. And so you can't really blame it on millennials because we were out in the club in 2016. I was there. You were there if you're my age. So what is that newfound yearning or nostalgia from the younger crew too? And look, when you make more of anything, it's the law of scarcity. If you make more of something, it's less valuable. That's why inflation's a thing. And people make more music now because you can make more music now. And so it's going to be less special. There's going to be more. I mean, bro, I used to think I was so unique and I was so like into music and I knew about music and I was a music kid when I was like 13. I look back now, bro, and I look at the charts from when I was 13. Bro, every single one of my favorite songs, it's literally just the top 10 on Billboard. That's all it is. I was just being served 10 songs, 20 songs, 30 songs, and I was like, yeah, I love these songs. And now you're being served like thousands of songs a week. I bet you that's the number. I bet you come into contact with thousands of songs a week that you listen to purposely, that you just hear out in the wild. Anyways, so that's definitely going to make music feel different for sure. But another thing that I think that doesn't get talked about enough is that we as music lovers and we as music fans really did get robbed of this decade in so many ways, because the biggest artists that were on the come up that were truly exciting artists, many of them died. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. I mean, it's tragic. I don't know. I hope crazy doesn't sound insensitive. Juice WRLD, XXX, Lil Peep, Mac Miller, Pop Smoke. I mean, Nipsey Hussle. He'd been in the game for a while, but I imagine what he would have done by now. Victory Lap, like that was kind of like his crossover into people like me knowing about Nipsey Hussle. And I don't even, he passed away a year, 2 years after that, if that. So I just named you 6 names. And I'm sure there are people that are slipping my mind right now. I just named you 6 names of generationally defining artists that would have defined further what music would become in this decade that are no longer here. Of course, there's going to be an effect, man. There's not infinite genius in the world. That's why genius is so celebrated, and you know it when you see it. And I think about that. I was listening to a song by Lil Peep this week called Walk Away as the Door Slams, the acoustic version. And it made me really emotional. Because I remember the day that, and I think that came out, that had to have come out after he had passed, the acoustic version of that song. But I remember like that New Music Friday, and I was leaving work in New York City from the radio station I worked at, and New Music Friday, I worked late. So it was like New Music Friday at midnight, and I was walking to the PATH train in New York City back to where I lived in New Jersey at the time. And I remember listening to that song when it dropped, and it was just like that's music. That's real. Again, getting back to what we were talking about earlier, it's not a perfect song. It's not a great song. but it's from a fundamental standpoint, but it hits you, it touches you. That song is amazing. If you don't know that song, you need to learn about that song. But Lil Peep, I mean, I remember Awful Things coming out and just the energy around that in August 2017 of feeling like, okay, this is a new sound. That's really what we're missing. I mean, if we really want to talk about what we're missing in music right now, there isn't a new sound. I was talking to somebody in the music industry recently, and they were like, yeah, I'm hearing the 80s are next. And I just thought that was so lame. Like, we had the 80s, we had the 90s, we had the 2000s, we had the 2010s. And then this decade so far, it's like, it's all derivative stuff. And I'm not saying there aren't great songs or catchy songs or things happening in underground movements, but it just feels like everything you could name something and I can tell you, well, that's derivative of this. And of course, you could argue and be devil's advocate and say, well, that's how it always was. You know, everything was inspired by what came before it, but it's a little different now with samples and interpolations and just like direct bites. But it is interesting when you think about that. If music does, look, if you love music right now, more power to you, sister. More power to you, brother. Rock on. But if you do feel that feeling that a lot of people feel where it is a little underwhelming, I think a big part of that is that these generational talents are not here to define the decade that they were destined to define. Because these people wouldn't have done SoundCloud rap the whole time. Of course not. They would have evolved. For better and for worse. That's the other catch-22, right? Is like, it could have morphed into something that you didn't like. But these people were phenomenons. I mean, phenomenons. If you are on the younger side and weren't really aware when Juice was putting out records or Peep was putting out records or XXX was putting out records. Just an electric time in music and just a new sound. I'll never forget. This is a lame story. It's going to sound lame. It's going to sound kind of corny, but it's real. I was grocery shopping in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I was walking back to my apartment. I didn't have a car at the time because it's not because I couldn't afford a car. I didn't want to make it sound like a sob story. I didn't have a car at the time because it was very difficult to park in Hoboken, New Jersey. If you know the area, if you know the city, it's a nightmare. So I just didn't have a car. So I would walk to and from our supermarket. So I have my groceries in my hands. When I hear All Girls Are the Same by Juice WRLD for the first time, and I had to stop, sit down on a park bench and just loop it. Again, I know that sounds corny. That's literally how good that song was the first time I heard it because I had never heard anything like that. These pop punk sensibilities, these pop punk melodies, these tropes that were traditionally reserved for emo music now being verbalized by a hip hop rap artist over trap beats was fascinating, dude. Fascinating. Yes, Kanye did 808s and Heartbreak, and yes, Drake was sort of the sad boy and all that stuff. But dude, this was like punk. This was rap. It was just utterly fascinating. So I will agree with people who say they're underwhelmed by music right now that there isn't a new sound happening. There's a lot of recycled sounds happening. And I bring all this up because XXX and Juice have a song out today. I don't even know what the song is called. It is called Whoa. And I'll bring this up for you if you're watching live right now. Thank you to everybody watching live. Let's go over to, is this Hot New Hip Hop? Is that what this is? See, it's annoying it does that, but hold on. There we go. All right. This is Hot New Hip Hop. The song is called Whoa. And I guess it's a remix. It says Skin is XXXTentacion's third album. It also includes the hit songs Bad and What Are You So Afraid Of? It was released in December 2018. Okay. The estates of late rappers XXXTentacion and Juice WRLD reunite the artists for a special remix track that supports their entry into the Fortnite video game. Okay. Again, I think posthumous releases are kind of gross unless the money is going to the right person. If this is helping someone's family, that's awesome. Originally on XXX's Skin album, Juice WRLD provides the remix with his signature melodic hip hop sound. The Chicago rap star battles his demons on the track with a heartfelt verse. I feel a little weird that like Hot New Hip Hop is writing about this. Like these people are alive. XXXTentacion pours out pain, trying to make sense of life, love, and mental struggles. His delivery is soft but cuts sharp. I get it. Like I get that these people have to write words about this stuff, but I do think it's so funny when they just describe the song. It's like, well, I can just listen to the song. I don't need you to say it's like, soft but cut sharp. And I'm not dogging this writer, whoever had to write this, but boy, also, that's a job that how long does that job last? With AI? I mean, dude, just like, hey, write me an article about this new all these websites, how are you not doing that? Write me an article about this song. And then you're gonna have it in 5 seconds. Boom, put it on your website. If you're watching this right now, you can probably start a website. Whatever you're into, you can probably start a website right now and just outfit it with AI written stuff, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. You do you, girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, it says the remix supports the artist collaborations with Epic Games and Fortnite. I never got into Fortnite. Obviously, a little too old for Fortnite. But actually, I guess I'm not. There are people that I know that are older than me that play that game a lot. But I don't know. I'm a very specific gamer. I like sports video games or like Rockstar games. Rockstar is a company, not like Rockstar, like music. I like Grand Theft Auto. I like Red Dead Redemption 2. Fortnite, I don't know. While Juice WRLD had previously collaborated with Fortnite for an unforgettable experience, the estates, well, this is bad writing. For an unforgettable experience. What experience? It was so unforgettable. You didn't mention it? The estates teamed up with gaming entity and Jogo Studios to add XXXTentacion to the Fortnite family, joining other hip hop stars like Ice Spice and Snoop Dogg. XXXTentacion will receive new skins and virtual island for fans. This is weird, dude. This is like if Tupac had this in like The Sims. It is funny, right? Like how sensibilities change throughout time and history where like for my generation, like if Tupac had his own island in The Sims, like that would have been made fun of. But and you know what? Here's the other thing that like maybe kids are making fun of this. We just assume, oh no, kids are really into this. Yeah, kids are like super. Yeah, they think this is cool. They might think this is so lame. They might like XXXTentacion, but they're like, yeah, dude, like I don't like he has his own island. I don't know. But I don't even know how islands work in this game. Like, well, if you go to the island, can you like just listen to his music? I don't know. The virtual world is becoming more and more important, I am finding. And I think it's tough for a lot of people my age to rectify, if that makes sense. Because we grew up in the visceral world and we put a premium on the visceral world. And I think it's a tough concept for people to understand that the visceral world is not inherently better than the virtual world. We just prefer it because that's where we grew up. It says, woe captures their truths, their demons, and their hopes. It's a reminder that even though tragedy, their voices still connect with those feelings. Yeah, I don't know. That's that. Kind of a weird article, I'm not gonna lie. All right, let me get rid of that. I think it's gonna pop up again though. I need to figure out how to stop doing that. Whatever. So that happened today, and just some food for thought on why music might be in the space that it's in.